Hey, it's me again, Randy. That's Randy. Hey, this is another video for my NBA fans. Oh man, I didn't catch the game, but I just caught the highlights. Big ups to the Knicks for beating Boston. And now they're going back to New York with a 2-0 lead. And uh Indiana and the Cavaliers. Indiana going back home with a 2-0 lead. Could this be the year of the upsets? I love every minute of it. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The competitiveness seems to be back in the NBA. But I got a question. I was thinking about this all day. So I'm gonna go back all the way to 96. 1996 is when Shaq, one of my favorite players, one of my favorite Laker players as well, went to the Lakers. And as we all know, 96 was also the year that the Bulls kicked off their second round of three-peats. So my question is, and I was thinking about this, and I haven't heard anybody, not a Stephen A. or anybody or a sports announcer, ever dare to even think or ask this question. But I was wondering today, as much as I love Shaq and loved him as a Laker, could Jordan have been the reason he got out of the East? Now, we all know that Jordan left, came back in 1995. Shaq and the Magic beat Jordan when he came back. I forgot how many games they beat him, but anyway, they won the series. Then they went on to the finals and lost to the Rockets. They got swept. All right, so in 96, Jordan has now played a whole season. And he gave the Magic the broom. And then we also know in 97, so in 1996, they beat the Supersonics. Then in 1997, they beat Utah. And then in 98, they beat Utah again. And so and we all know that Shaq got a nice paycheck from the Lakers as well. But I was just thinking, man, if Jordan actually played a factor, I know the money going to the Lakers played a factor, but at that time, the West wasn't, I ain't gonna say the West was a cakewalk, but it had gotten I think it was a little easier because the East was loaded. You had Jordan, you had that Indiana team, you had the Knicks, you had the Magic, you had a whole lot of good teams in the East. And so it wasn't an easy way for the Bulls, Jordan and the Bulls, to get to the finals either. But we all know that Bulls team, they ruled the East for 6 straight years. And the only time anybody else got a chance was when Michael Jordan retired. And the Knicks was one of the teams that finally got to the finals and lost to, who did they? I'm trying to think. Did they lose? I think they lost to the Rockets too. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they lost to the Rockets. I think the Rockets beat the Knicks for their first championship. And I think they swept the Magic for the second one. Yeah, that's right, because in 96, the rise of Michael Jordan and the Bulls came back in 96. So the Rockets were able to get 2 championships in Jordan's absence. But I was just thinking about that, and maybe Shaq was like, man, as long as this dude is in the East, it's going to, and that Bulls team stays together, and they stayed together up until 98. And Shaq left for LA in 96. He might have been like, man, hey man, I might as well go into try my chances in the West. Now, Jordan and them Bulls, For like I said, 6 straight years. I was just giving a little rundown, or thinking about the little rundown that how many superstars Jordan kept from getting a championship. Let's start with Charles Barkley. I believe if it wasn't for Jordan and them Bulls, he would have had a championship. And I think that might have been one reason why. Same reason Shaq might have got out of there. Charles might have went to the West Coast for the same reason. And still ended up having to face, Charles Barkley, was he? Oh, no, my bad. Charles Barkley and the Suns was a victim of the first three-peat. That's who he played in the 93 championship, right before he retired. So Charles went to join the Suns. They got to the finals, but guess who he had to face? His friend and enemy at the same time. And Charles was never able to get back to the finals. The one time he got there, he had to run up against them Jordan and them Bulls. So Charles Barkley was another one that, because of Michael Jordan and the Bulls, couldn't get a championship. Pat Ewing, poor Pat Ewing. He finally got a chance and ended up losing to Hakeem Olajuwon in the Rockets. And Reggie Miller, Jordan. And then a block shot later on after Jordan retired again. A block shot by Tayshaun Prince kept him from getting to the final again. And when he finally got to the finals, it wasn't Jordan that he faced. I think, they finally got to the finals, I think, after Jordan had retired. And they lost to Kobe and Shaq. They were one of Kobe and Shaq's victims. But yeah, so Reggie had to wait till Jordan retired. Ewing had to wait till Jordan retired because the Knicks got there again in '99 and lost to the Spurs. But yeah, he kept a lot of people from a lot of superstar names from getting championships. I can't even remember them all. I know one of them was the big homie, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson had 5. He kept Magic Johnson from getting 6. Isaiah kept Magic Johnson from getting 6 as well. Magic Johnson, if that Laker team would have beat the Pistons, that would have been his 6th ring. And if they could have beat the Bulls, he could have had 7 rings. But it just didn't work out that way. So he got 5 and fell short against the Pistons. And then that Piston team was the same Piston team that Jordan and them finally beat. And then they went up against that Laker team that had just lost to the Pistons the year before in 1990. Then in 91, they lose to Michael Jordan in 5. So yeah, he kept that Bulls team was a beast, man. Like I said, I wasn't a Jordan fan back then. I was a Laker fan. But I do remember that Jordan, that them Bulls boys was bad, bro. Like they were demolishing teams, man. And man, it was just something to watch, man. I didn't realize how great that team was until many years later, just looking back to how dominant they were and how Jordan was just, man, he was that dude. He really was. I mean, he was a beast. And but yeah, so I was wondering, like, man, Shaq was like, I got him one time, but man, I ain't gonna be able to get him again. Let me get out of here. Barkley was probably thinking the same thing at 93. I mean, all them years he played him against him when he played in Philly, he was like, man, I ain't gonna beat this team. Let me get out of here and go to the West, try my chances over there. He got to the finals, and Lord and behold, he ends up playing against Jordan anyway, and he loses in 6. But I was just wondering that. And so, and then another thing I was thinking about today too, and I'm about to take up for LeBron, even though I'm not a LeBron fan either. But I'm about to take up LeBron for LeBron because he has been one of the players that got labeled with the the super team. But how soon do we forget about that 2008 Celtic team that was put together? Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen. And those guys were still in their prime. That was a super team. Probably the first super team that I know of that was actually put together with the whole to help Paul Pierce get a championship, help Garnett get a championship, and help Ray Allen get a championship. You know why they fled to the East? Because of two dudes, Kobe and Shaq. Garnett fell to Kobe and Shaq. Ray Allen fell to Kobe and Shaq. The only one that didn't fall to Kobe and Shaq was Paul Pierce because he was in the East. He didn't really have to see them that much. So they were like, man, let's go to the East. And then they ran shop through the East. And then they beat Kobe in that they beat Kobe and the Lakers in that 2008 championship in 6 games. And the game number 6 wasn't even close, man. That was the worst loss other than Shaq and Kobe to the Pistons that I seen Kobe ever face in a final, for real. That was bad, but you know, that Boston team was something to reckon with, man. You talking about you got 3 Hall of Famers on one team. But and that's why I love Kobe so much, man, as a player, because he didn't whine about it. He didn't gripe. He didn't say I ain't have enough help. He said, you know what? We just got to go back to the lab and get tougher. And that's what they did. And they came back 2009, mollywopped the Magic, and then they got their revenge against the Boston Celtics in 2010. And that was one of the greatest 7-game series that I've seen in the history of basketball, that I did ever since I started watching basketball. So, but with that said, LeBron, I'm taking up for him, man. He didn't start the super team. Boston did. I think he got the idea from Boston because he ran up against that juggernaut in Boston as well. So ain't no way, because that Boston team used to mollywop Cleveland, and they mollywopped them in the playoffs. They mollywopped. No, actually, they didn't necessarily mollywop them. I do remember that Miami. Well, that's when D Wade was just basically by himself, because I think Alonzo had retired, and I think Shaq had went to another team. I don't know which team it was that Shaq went to, and it was almost just D Wade, almost just by himself, and he took on all 3 of them, and he took it to I think they went to Game 7 in the first round, so they knocked off D Wade, and then and I don't even know if the Toronto Raptors made the playoffs. So Bosh, I know the times that he played against, he probably lost a lot too. And LeBron, I think, lost to him in the playoffs as well. So he probably got the idea from them, seeing what they did, and was like, man, let me go on and get Bosh and go down to Wade in Miami. And it wasn't until he joined up in Miami they were able to beat them Boston boys. So yeah, I don't think LeBron started the super team. I think that was all started in Boston. Unfortunately, people started seeing what LeBron and Boston was doing and was like, man, we should do the same. And that's when you just started seeing guys wanting to go to this team because there's already 2 superstars over there instead of having the attitude that Jordan had. And that's why Michael Jordan, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of his when he was playing, but I recognized greatness. And one of the things that I loved the most about Mike was a competitor. Mike didn't want to link up with Magic and Bird. He's like, I wanted to beat them, and he did. And I'm like, man, I'll be glad. Hopefully the NBA can go back to those days where the guys was like, man, I ain't trying to play with you. I'm trying to beat you. I want to be put amongst some of the best players in this sport, and I got to beat you to do that. I don't want to link up with you. I want to beat you. And that's what I loved about Kobe was the same way. Kobe is like, man, even though as a real Kobe fan, I know there was a time where he entertained going to link up with Derrick Rose or whatever because the Lakers didn't seem like they were really doing it interesting in helping him. And I don't like using the word help, but they weren't interested in building a team for championships because Kobe was still in his prime and he wanted to win championships. He didn't ever lose his drive to win championships after Shaq and everybody left. He still wanted to win championships. So at the time, it didn't seem like the Lakers were interested in winning championships anymore. And he was like, well, man, I need to get up on out of here then because I still want championships. And if y'all, I'm not going to waste my career here just putting up points like somebody we know right now. So he did entertain the thought of going to join the Bulls. Now, speaking of that, and I was thinking about this today too, what if that trade actually went down and Kobe did link up with Derrick Rose in that defensive, and you had Kim Noah in the middle and Carlos Boozer and I forgot the bald head guy's name. Was it Gibson? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but you had Derrick and and you would have had Kobe and Derrick. And Derrick was putting up about 30-some points in his sleep sometime if he wanted to. And you had a Kobe who could put about 30, 40 points up in his sleep. I don't think LeBron would have sniffed the NBA Finals 10 times in a row if you would have brought Kobe into the East. I would have loved to have seen that, though. But this wishful thinking. Rest in peace, Kobe. But yeah, that would have been wow. Bro, if that would have went down. Woo, man, I don't know. I don't think he gets there 10 times with Kobe and Derrick Rose on the same team. I don't think you see it. But anyway, so these were just the things I was thinking about. And just like I'm gonna take up for Kawhi Leonard. Because I know a lot of people say that he's the reason that we got load management. No, his coach Popovich came up with load management because I remember clearly when the Spurs were on their championship runs, when they got close, once they made the playoffs, Popovich used to sit down Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. They didn't play towards the end of the season, especially when they were already had the playoffs sewn up. So Kawhi got that from his coach. But we always say Kawhi is the father of load management. No, his coach Popovich is the father of load management. And I think it's terrible because and that's why, and I ain't trying to sound like an old hater. I'm not. I love watching these new guys play. They do some amazing things on the court, especially in the dunk contest. Man, y'all got the dunk contest. Bruh. Y'all got it. But them street dunkers got y'all though. They need to bring the street dunkers to the NBA dunk contest. Cause boy. But it just some of the older guys may not have been as athletic, but man, the heart, the toughness, the playing through injuries, the playing for the fans. They laid it all on the court for the fans. And I speak prime example, LeBron, I'm about to criticize LeBron on this one, but you're getting fans kicked out of the game because they heckling you. Russell Westbrook doing the same thing because somebody call you Russell Westbrook brick. You gonna get them kicked out of the game? You want to fight fans? Man, come on, bruh. That's part of the game. Y'all got to get some tougher skin. Y'all too big to be that sensitive. My goodness, y'all are giants and you that sensitive. Come on, man. I'll never forget Robinson. I think it was Cliff Robinson when he played for Detroit. It was the first game, my first NBA game, and my uncle took us to it. We were courtside. And these two guys were sitting beside us. They were calling Cliff Robinson a weed head, and loud enough that he could hear it. Because we weren't that far from Cliff. And Cliff kind of looked over there, but he didn't say nothing. He didn't get him kicked out of the game. And I'm like, he was like, yeah, whatever. And he probably do smoke weed, but I don't know if he still do now. But He didn't get them kicked out of the game. He understood, yeah, I'm a professional NBA player. We got hecklers. It's just like comedians, they have hecklers. But they don't get the people kicked out. They just roast them. And he didn't get these guys kicked out because they paid their money to come there and roast him about smoking weed. But he handled it like a professional did. He just kept playing ball. He ain't called us over there, oh, they need to leave. No, for what? They paid their money. It ain't like they threw something at him or spit at him or something like that. They ain't do nothing disgusting. They were just calling the man a weed head. And he handled it like a champ. He's like, yeah, my skin tougher than that. I don't care what y'all say. I'm getting paid. And he kept balling. And but then y'all wonder why some of us old guys like us, like, we criticize y'all so much, man, because sometimes y'all just be too sensitive on things. And yeah, I'm not saying that a fan has the right to say any and everything to you, because yeah, you still human. You have feelings. We understand that. That's why if I saw one of y'all in real life, I can tell y'all big in the TV. You would never have to worry about me saying nothing out of my mouth the wrong way to you, because I ain't trying to get mollywopped in front of everybody. But some people some people stupid, and I get it. Some fans are just dumb. But getting them kicked out of the game, come on, man. And you know, I'll never forget, man, Isaiah Thomas, another one of my favorite players too. And I don't think Isaiah Thomas get enough respect either. Because I remember, even though I was rooting for Magic Johnson in the Lakers, I'll never forget that first time that Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons went up against Magic Johnson in the Lakers. And some of y'all that are around my age will probably remember this game, because y'all were probably watching the same series just like I was. It was a good series. And I think it was game 7. I think that series actually went to 7 as well. And man, I felt bad for Isaiah. But I'm glad the Lakers won. But he pulled his hamstring. And I'll never forget it, man. Isaiah Thomas was playing literally on one leg, and he was still lighting the Lakers up. And he was in so much pain that there was a clip of him. Pull it up on YouTube if you don't believe me. Pull it up on YouTube. The man had tears in his eyes. He wanted to win that game so bad, and the only reason the Pistons didn't beat the Lakers that time is because that man literally was playing on one leg. He pulled his hamstring. He didn't go sit down. He was running up and down the court hobbling and it's still lighting them up on jumpers. And they came up short. That man cried. That's how bad he wanted to win the game. That's what we miss. That's what we miss as NBA fans out of you guys. Y'all don't even cry when y'all lose no more, man, because it don't mean much to y'all, because y'all getting the big payday. Some of y'all play like you just happy to be there. And we miss that. We miss that competitiveness. Same thing with Magic Johnson. So that same Piston team came back and swept the Lakers the next year. And Magic Johnson pulled his hamstring. He was disappointed he couldn't keep playing the game. And you could see it in his face. He didn't cry, but he really wanted that 6th ring. And he couldn't finish competing because his hamstring had went out on him. That's what we miss. We miss the competitive. We miss the guys playing for the fans and laying it all out there. And we know there's some guys out there in this generation that are doing that, but it's very few, very, 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 very few. But I can honestly say that so far, these NBA playoffs are starting off real good and they're real competitive, and I'm hoping that they continue with this, because I'm loving every bit of it. These close games, games coming down, the last second 3-point shots, man, is great. I'm glad the competitive is back. But yeah, but I miss that, man. I miss the same thing with Kobe. This man playing on, man, I tore my Achilles, but I'm gonna knock down 2 free throws and then I'm gonna walk myself off the court. Broken finger. He played one game left-handed. Messed up shoulder, just kept balling. Oh man, yeah, man. But yeah, I always wondered that because I know goodness well, um, Michael Jordan and them Bulls. I call them Bulls because they, whether you like them, hate them, or whatever, man, you can't deny that that's probably one of the greatest teams ever assembled in modern basketball, ever. And that team kept a lot of great players from ever sniffing a ring, ever. Um, Good thing is for Isaiah Thomas, he caught Jordan before Pippen became a superstar. So he was able to get to the finals. But once Pippen became that superstar, boy, it was a wrap for him too. It was a wrap for Bird. I mean, good thing he got his 3 before, Pippen came along and turned to a superstar. And a good thing Magic had got his 5 because, man, the Jordan and them Bulls was a beast, bro. They kept a whole lot of great players from getting a ring. Karl Malone was another one. Karl Malone had to play that man twice and lost twice in 6. And man, Charles Barkley, I love Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was another one of my favorite players. And if it had not been for Michael Jordan and them Bulls, he would have had a ring. Man, a whole long list of guys, man. It just, and that's, oh boy, that team was just something special, bro. I don't think we'll ever have a team. I ain't gonna say ever. I don't want to use that word ever, but man, it's gonna be hard to duplicate that. 2 3-peats, bro. And one man retires, and literally, like I said, the other day on my last video, it was when that one man retired, it was like a black hole. It was like, man, I can't even describe the feeling when he announced his retirement. Man, it was like a no. I didn't, hey look, and I wasn't a Bull fan, but I didn't want Mike to leave. I enjoyed watching Mike. I enjoyed rooting against Mike. Even though I knew he was gonna win most of the time, but I enjoyed rooting against him. But man, the dude was amazing. And he's like, man, I'm going to retire. Like, Mike, why? And then Magic Johnson had left around the same time. Like, oh man. And so the Rockets took over as the Kings. They won 2 straight championships in his absence. And then Mike came back. I was excited, like, yes, Mike coming back. Now I ain't gonna lie, I ain't like the 45. I wasn't a big fan of the 45. It just didn't look right on Mike, man. Like, the 45 don't look right. And when he went back to the 23, I like, yeah. And then, so I ended up rooting for Michael Jordan in the end of his career, especially when he went up against Utah, because Utah had swept my Lakers I think their first time that they went to the finals, they swept the Lakers to get there. Like, man, and Mike got the revenge for me. But yeah, man. So I was just thinking about that, man. I know they, like I said, the Lakers offered Shaq a whole bunch of money, but I wonder if he was like, man, if we got to keep playing against this team, man, I ain't ever gonna sniff the finals again. At least for the 3 years. Because, like I said, Mike retired in 98. Shaq went to the Lakers in 96. So just imagine if Shaq would have stayed with the Orlando Magic. He wouldn't have seen the finals them 3 years. So, yeah, and it wasn't until, I think it wasn't until 2000 that he saw the finals again, because he ran up against the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz was the kings of the West back then. So, yeah, it wasn't until 2000 when he saw the finals again. So, yeah, man, Mike was that dude. And I don't think it's fair. And once again, I'm taking up for LeBron. And Mike was just special, man. You had to be there. And I know a lot of y'all will never be able to understand, because that's why YouTube is a blessing. You just gotta pull up the highlights. Oh, another dude they had to wait till Mike retired too. Big ups to AI. Allen Iverson had to. That Bulls team kept him from probably getting a championship earlier too. I mean, he finally got there in 2001. He had to go against Kobe and Shaq, but man, he might have got there sooner if he had to go up against them Bulls. I mean, Alonzo Mourning, same thing. Man, speaking of Alonzo Mourning, big up to Alonzo from Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia. Man, I'll never forget it. I remember it was a Wednesday night, and the Bulls were up. I think they went up 2-0, and I think the game was in Miami, I think. And Alonzo was like, man, we're going to win. I think it was game 3. But anyway, he said it was a Wednesday night. I remember that. But Alonzo was like, yeah, we're going to win on Wednesday night. We're going to win on Wednesday night. I guarantee it. Bruh, much as I love Alonzo, I had his shoes and everything. Another one of my favorite players. Michael Jordan and Pippen, they did a press conference. And then once again, you don't believe me, pull it up on YouTube. Michael Jordan and Pippen were like, yeah, Miami gonna win on Wednesday. And they snickered, bro. Miami did win because Mike and Pippen kind of took the night off. They didn't sit on the bench, but it was like, yeah, we're gonna let y'all have this one. And Miami won, but then did Miami win any more games after that? No. They ain't win no more games after that, bro. But that's how great this team was, man. They could just pick and choose when they was gonna let you win. It ain't so much that you beat them. There's sometimes where they just let you win. It's like, man. Man, I'm telling you had to be there to see it, bro. One of the greatest teams I ever seen in my life. Man. But yeah, so just wondering, man. And like I said, Shaq, one of my favorite players. But I was just wondering. And I know that he got a lot of money from the Lakers. But I was just wondering, man. He was like, I was able to get him once. Just once. Because Michael Jordan still had a little bit of rust. He was 45. It was his first. He was just coming back after being away from almost 2 years. And he still gave them a run for their money. But Shaq was like, I got him once, but then, like I said, they got swept by them Bulls the second time. And he might like, man, reality might have set in like, boy, if I ever want to get to the finals, I can't keep going up against this dude and this team. And same, so yeah, I was just wondering what y'all think. But I'm excited for these playoffs. Hoping that the excitement, the 1-point wins, the buzzer beaters, and the comebacks from 20 points down to win by a point. Man, I hope this competition keeps up, boy, because I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. This is the NBA that I used to grow up with, where the games were close. Oh, man. Yeah. So if you like this video, I need you to like and subscribe and share. And once again, I just want to thank everybody, my subscribers, the people that like my videos. But if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and y'all have a blessed night. Bye.